Hello again, Craig Lieberman here. Today I have a very special guest. This guest owns 7 screen used cars from the Fast and Furious and Too Fast and Furious. We'll meet him right after this message from my sponsor. Have you ever thought, why is my wireless bill so expensive? Well, now you can do something about that. So I want to tell you about Mint Mobile, with whom I'm partnering for today's video. Now, you've probably heard about Mint Mobile already. Maybe you've seen the hilarious ads from Ryan Reynolds, who by chance is also an owner of Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile's service is awesome. For starters, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15, and you don't have to sacrifice coverage, speed, or even data. They're also built on the nation's largest 5G network, which is fantastic. How do they do it? It's real easy. They keep their costs low because they sell direct to you online. They cut out the retail stores and the salespeople, and everybody wins. Switching to Mint is super easy too. The whole process only takes 15 minutes, and if you get stuck, Mint has a great customer service team to help you through it. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. So if you want to get great wireless service at a great price from a great company, visit my link, mintmobile.com/Craig, or click the link in my description right below the video. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and a free mobile hotspot. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as just 2 lines. So what are you waiting for? Get hooked up with Mint Mobile today. Okay, we're back. We're here with Arjan from the Netherlands. How are you, my friend?
Very good. It's almost night here, but it's still very day at your place.
Yes, it's 3 p.m. here, and it's midnight in Holland, Netherlands, right, to Amsterdam, whatever we're talking about. A lot of people don't know this story at all. They know a little bit about the cars that are traveling around Europe, but they've never put a face to the owner of these cars. For all intents and purpose, you should be a secret spy because you're not hanging out at the car shows. You have your people take the cars around and so forth. So the first time I met you in Rotterdam, at Hoy, right? Yeah. So Chrome Cars played a dirty trick on me. They took they have their own Fast and Furious cars, the gold Supra, and a couple of other cars, and they put your Supra, the movie Supra from Fast and Furious, or my old car, under a car cover, and I didn't discover it until like 6 o'clock at night, the first night. I was walking around. I was cleaning the cars with the guys, talking with everybody and all that kind of stuff, and we pulled the car covers off. And as soon as I pulled it up, I saw the number 12 on the bumper, and I realized it was my old car. And I'm not going to lie, I got a little emotional about it.
Mm-hmm. I should have been there then at that moment already. I didn't know that.
Then I got inside the car. It smells the same way, right? Everything's right where my arms remember that they just went right to the stick shift and everything. So that was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you letting them borrow the car. And you have a great relationship with those guys, Chrome Cars, yes. So we got to tell the story. Okay, for those who don't know, when I sold my old movie Supra, I went to a guy by the name of Nick Kershmakers, right?
Kershmakers, yes.
Kershmakers. So he had it for a little while, and then and I met him too while I was over there trip. But he eventually sold it to you, a couple of years after?
But no, I think it's only like a few months after he got it from you. It's the same summer that part 1 came out. It was written in a magazine about this car, and there was, well, I got it over from US for my car shows because he is a car show organizer. Right. And then it was written like, and after I will sell it again. So I took the phone book because it was not on the internet yet. It was 2002, one or two.
Yeah, 2001, I think, maybe. I don't remember.
Well, one even, yeah. And I will start calling Kersmakers from that village in Belgium. And he said, no, I don't know, Nick. And the second said, oh, that's my nephew. This is his number. And then I called him and said, yeah, you have that car. I would like to visit and to come to you. Well, okay. And I went there and I said, I want to buy the car.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, but I need it for my shows. I said, I buy it. You can use it for your shows. And then I bought it that same night.
You bought it that same night.
But this only, this was like 1 week after I saw Fast and the Furious Part 1 in the movie center. And I was just over 30 years and I was totally car crazy. And I came out and I felt this energy of this movie. I had goosebumps on my arms. And for me, that moment, that movie was already history. Nobody could have known that it would get so big. But that movie, it really touched me.
Yeah, a lot of people really touched their gas pedal foot, because as soon as they got in their car, they're revving their engines and doing burnouts out of the parking lot. So I know. I also saw it before they released it in private screenings, but on opening night, I went to a regular theater. Okay, not the premiere. I actually went to the premiere too, but I actually went to a regular, just neighborhood cinema. And then when the Honda Civics went under the trucks, the whole audience got up and cheered. And I was old enough to watch Star Wars in the theater in 1977. I was like 12 years old. And I remember that first sequence of Star Wars. Nobody got up out of their chairs and cheers. It was
amazing. And even while you say this, I feel goosebumps on my arms, on my legs. This movie, and you see it with the people talking about it. Even the people that were not driving 20 years ago, still the people have this same goosebump feeling about the movie and the cars and the whole happening.
It's true, and I tell this story a lot. After I started going to Europe for appearances, I realized that the fans in Europe are the best fans in the world, because all those people over there have been there from Sweden, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, England. It's very different over there. The passion for the movies, those movies are crazy. And the passion for the cars for the first 3 movies is way different over there. Over here, the tuner guys don't care about those cars at all. They think they're ridiculous. But you go over there, and I see these people when they walk up to the cars, your collection in particular, you have a nice display, you have a bunch of cars, very professional. And they get close to the cars, and these kids just lose their mind. They just light up, and they're taking pictures, and they just try to get close to the car. So you go around to all these shows, and so you share that with everybody.
But you saw the guy, Torsten, he has the nuclear gladiator tattoo on his arm.
Yeah.
This is what people do. It's crazy.
Man, the only thing I put on my body as a tattoo is my wife's name. But I would do that, but I hope she didn't hear that. But, these guys are crazy. Renee Heller, I can never say it properly, pronunciation. Renee. It's hard for Americans to do that, or maybe just as American. But there's a lot of people who love it. So talk about your collection. Let's go through the cars.
Yeah. So 2002, I bought a Supra. Then in 2005, I think it was, Fast 2 was out, and there was the auction of Peterson's Automotive Museum at Bonham's LA auction. It was in the summer because I was on a beach or at a restaurant in Cyprus watching the Cyprus World Rally Champion, the WRC event, and I put myself on absence bidding for the auction, and I had some prices that I wrote down, that I said, well, this is very reasonable prices that I would like to have a brother or sister next to the Supra, because when you put them two together, it's more nice than when there's only one car.
Okay. Which car did you buy?
The auctioneer called me. I was bidding, and the first car was mine, and the second and the third. And at the end, 1 hour later, I had 7 cars.
So you got the Too Fast, Too Furious stunt car, right?
Yeah, the Supra Too Fast, Too Furious, the gold one, which under the white body, I put a camera under it, and then you can see that the whole orange with stickers and everything is still under there.
Wow.
And that's amazing. I promise I will post a little video, but it's not, you can't see it that good. It's a camera where you go under, you see the OZ sticker, you can see the stickers, and you see the green, and you see the silver, and you see everything on the orange.
Yeah, when I was at your super secret warehouse in the middle of nowhere, you would think that place is like just an abandoned building, but it's not. It's like a fortress.
It's a safe place to store them.
Yeah. And then you got a Suzuki S2000.
The Suzuki S2000. Mm-hmm. There were 2 sold in the auction, but I bought the first one, and then I said, well, I don't need 2. But the other one had the supercharger.
That's the Hero car. That car is still sitting at Peterson.
Was that the Hero car?
Yeah.
Oh, could have had the Hero car. I didn't even know that. So every time when you talk about these things, you still hear new things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Terrible.
And then you got a charger, one of the chargers. There was 3, and you got your hands on one of them, an actual screen-used car.
The screen-used stunt charger, because there was the original where they put in the engine partially, so as you see, as you describe in your video. And there was the flipped one, and there is mine. That's the 3 used. That's the only one that I don't have the
certificate,
red line key list. I have the key list from the rest, but I don't have the page from the charger, because I got the other one when I was bidding for the cars. I get them from Bonhams. They had the list.
I don't have the key list for the chargers, because the chargers never came through the picture car warehouse. Those cars were done by Ray Claridge at Cinema Vehicle Services. I think you have a piece of paper certificate of authenticity.
I have the papers and I have the license plates, or the VIN numbers and everything, and they are from Universal or on the name of Universal. So it's all very, very legit what I have.
There were a lot of people around the world claiming they have a screen-used charger from that movie, and when they send me pictures and stuff, and I say, sorry, that's not true.
The charger, the green Eclipse, and I think mine is the one that was used for the Dodger Stadium, because that was mentioned also in the auction. So the starting scenes from the first movie. Then the red RX-7 from Toretto, which he was driving, stunt car. The white Jetta from Jesse without bullet holes.
And what are we missing? I feel like we're missing something. We got the red RX-7, the Eclipse, the Supra, the other Supra, the S2000, and the Jetta, and
green,
the Charge.
red, white, and black. 7. That's 7 in total.
And that's 7. 2 of those cars landed in the hands of a guy named George Barris. George Barris, for you young kids who don't know this, he created the first Batmobile back in 1965, I think it was. And that's one of the cars that got me into cars as a young boy. But when Fast and Furious came out, I learned a lot about the guy. I mean, he was a guy who would get his hands on the cars after the movie. He would buy these cars at auction and then start claiming them as his work. And all the guys I work with the Picture Car Club, Picture Car guys, my bosses on Fast and Furious 1 and Fast and Furious 2, they warned me about this guy. He actually tried to buy the Supra that you bought. Yeah, so I was on the phone with him, and he gave me a offer, and I said, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. I'm not doing it. Nope. Well, I'm going to sue you. And I said, well, listen, you may want to take a look at my last name. It's Lieberman, and it's of Jewish descent. If you think that I don't have an attorney in my family, anyway, I got to meet him about a year later in person in front of Barry Maguire from Maguire's, and he gave me an earful. He said, I'm never going to do business with you again. I said, great. Then I can sleep. I can sleep well for the rest of my life. Yeah. Especially the green one and the red one were quite touched by him. And I bought the cars almost 20 years ago, and they have been in a warehouse very long. And the funny thing is, I had a computer company, and I got people over when the movies became more known, and I got people over that were from Sony and from Taiwanese and Japanese companies, and that were typically people that were working in Europe. The kids were still in Asia. And then I would put them in the car and make a picture of them to send to their kids. Yeah. And what I was giving to those guys is "Daddy is cool." Right. Exactly. And if you can give that as a relationship, right, then you build really strong relationships. So that was always very, very, especially with the Asian people, that was very effective. Bonding. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, because it's all about family. In the movie, it's about family, but business is also about friends and doing business. Want to support each other. My son was about 10 years old, right, and he wasn't really into Japanese cars. He liked NASCARs, right? And then he started telling his friends at school, my daddy has the car from that movie, and they're going, bullshit. And so I took the Targa roof off and I drove him to school.
Oh, nice.
Pulled up where everybody was picking up their kids, and we couldn't get the buses out of there because there were so many kids coming out. The parents were coming out and looking at the car. So.
Yeah, what is happening? I do it sometimes for very good friend of mine when the kids in the area where I live, if you are like graduating from your secondary school, from high school, then you go with a car to the gala, to the party, end party, the gala night. Sometimes I have one of my cars, and then for girls in the pink car. Well, can it get better than that? You are being brought to that place with a pink car from the movie. And before I get a lot of mail, this was only in my hometown for real good personal friends of mine, because you can't do it for everybody. It's impossible. Right, that's why I said, okay, I will take them to the shows. Everybody can enjoy them and see them and take the pictures over there. But you have to see what is possible to share it for the broad public. You can't give everybody a piece of the car. It's
right. I get it. And one of the reasons I tell people I wanted to sell the cars because I wanted to drive the cars. And you can't really drive a movie car, especially a hero car, on the highway, because if it gets hit, it is destroyed forever. Yeah. And so it was useless to me. It was a paperweight. It was just decoration.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine who is transporting them in a closed trailer. We had them in open trailers also. The cars have been throughout Europe. So when I just got them, they went to Finland, Paris, Ireland, Hungary, Germany. So they were at a lot of places, and that's long trips to go to by trailer.
Yeah, and after driving with you in Netherlands at what should I say? High speed-ish, allegedly.
Well, the Audi is a nice car. It's that's a good thing. We are 1 hour from Germany, and in Germany, I legally drove over 300 with the car. So but that's, and then it was like a piece of 300. And then there was a sign 120 because it stopped. It's a zones that you can unlimited. Right. And I let my gas go, and I'm still doing 180. And then I see the blue lights behind me, and I was like, so what will happen? But they were just checking. It was because I was just over the border. I was bringing my son in the middle of the night. I was bringing my son to the 7 o'clock plane from Düsseldorf. So it was. But it was no problem for them.
Yeah, that was a good trip. For those of you who don't know, I was in Belgium and Netherlands not long ago in May, and I got the tour of the whole country.
We had to visit the other location where the Fast 4 GTR was for the auction.
Yeah, the Paul Walker.
Was a nice visit. You don't tell that you also were sleeping next to me, huh? Because you had this big jet lag.
The last time I fell asleep in a car, my dad was driving and I was 10 years old. So that means I trust your driving.
That's very good. It was a busy road, so at that moment we couldn't go that fast.
But that driving in your country is amazing because everybody can really drive. Maybe they don't move over fast enough for you, but you only keep leaving one car length at 100 miles an hour. And people coming over like that.
The good thing, if you see in Holland and Belgium, the people are obedient. The further you go south in Europe, if you come to France, then it's already a bit the right of the first or the oldest car. And the further south you go, the more flexible people are with the rules. People are predictable. You know that people will keep the rules, and therefore you all are faster. But I was also driving rally for 15 years in Holland and Belgium, and I drove 3 times the Rally GB in England, even the WRC event. You notice the things. You know if people have seen you or not,
right?
By their movements or not. If you see the car go back a little bit, then go to the right suddenly. a little shake, then you know, he saw me, so now I can pass without him just coming to the left.
Situational awareness.
Yeah,
we call it. I look in their mirrors, their side mirrors, and if they're looking in their mirror, and we make eye contact. Same here. But most people don't learn that stuff. My dad was a horrible driver, horrible.
But it was, there were not many cars on the road at that moment, so you didn't have to be so much aware.
When you take these cars to car shows, you basically put a barricade, like a little fence around it, right? I see you put the metal stuff.
Yeah, we've had events that a moment there was nobody, and then it's like 10 minutes there's nobody there, and then the guy comes back from the toilet, or the guard just went away, and then suddenly like 20 people jumped the fence, and they're just all sitting in the car. And I even found, maybe somebody will hear this, I even found an old phone like years ago in the car that somebody lost in the car.
Really?
So the problem is that if 1,000 people sit in a car, things will break off. So we have to be very. If a kid is really sweet, then it's hard for me to say no. But the guys have the rules for. Okay, let's keep it in one piece. The car.
Same thing I did. If they were a kid under 10 years old or so, I would let them in. But the more they get in and out of the car, they tear up the upholstery here. It's not intentional, but it's just wear and tear. The steering wheel gets worn out really quickly. All that kind of stuff.
There's a few things that I have to repair, and then it's then you spend a lot of money again for renovate things.
Let's talk some numbers for extensive. So I'm not going to ask you what you paid for the cars. Okay, that's none of my business. However,
I paid less for the car than a normal Supra now cost.
Okay.
Supra Turbo, huh? No, it was part one was just done, and but also the other cars, because if you search the other cars, you can find what I paid for it, and I was surprised how cheap those cars were. Because, for example, the S2000 I bought for less money at auction than an S2000 from the same building year at that moment was costing in Europe.
Wow.
And I asked the auctioneer, I told him, it surprised me that the cars are reasonably cheap. Why is that? And he answered me literally, the movies are considered to be too much rice. It was too Asian. It was not American pride. Except the Charger, of course, then. Yeah. But so the Japanese cars were not so popular at that moment because they were killing the American car manufacturers. That was happening in those years a bit. That's
true, but the real thing is, I'll tell you a story. When I had the Supra and even the Skyline, when I'd go to car shows after the movies came out, when I rolled in, if anybody didn't see that movie, they don't know what it is. They look at me like, that is the ugliest graphic I've ever seen on a car. Why are you driving that riced out piece of crap? Right.
But that is with art also. The first time that Polak made or Kunz or whatever made a piece of art, people say, "Ooh, that's strange." And afterwards, it is valued and accepted, and it's millions.
Yeah, genius. It becomes genius, right?
They make the new trends. So it's.
They did the graphics that way because they had the graphics have to be different from all the cars that we're going to see on set. Yeah. Because everybody else was using the same kind of graphics, decals, barbed wire, a tribal, that kind of stuff. So it was groundbreaking.
But that was also, I was making from 2000 to 2015, I was driving rally. And what you saw in that time, printing techniques were changing.
Right.
So before it was just letters was put on cars at advertisement. And I remember I went in 2000, I made an from yellow to blue car, but that was like yellow plastic with blue spots. And it was from yellow going to blue.
Fade, yeah, we call it fade.
And it was fading, yeah. And that was Nobody had that at that time.
That's right. Right.
And afterwards it went full color prints and everything. So by the technique, things will change and things will get normal.
So last week I had the guy on who did the graphics for the cars, right?
Nice.
Robert from Modern Image. He did all the graphics.
Yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine. I don't know, 25 years, something like that. And he was saying the exact same thing. Back in the old days, it's one color printing. Yeah. And like graphics from like the Supra or the Maxima, they were airbrushed. You've got, you have the car. You have multiple layers and airbrushing into.
But that's the fun thing. If you see the S2000, I have this book here, The Making of the Cars for 1 and 2. I don't know the name anymore, but the square book.
Yeah.
And then you have a picture, then you see 4 or 5 S2000 in the same picture. Mm-hmm. And there you can see, because they are paintbrushed, they each has a signature. So you can see exactly which car is which, because they are all a little bit different, because they have like a swirl with a few dots, but the dots are at different points.
This was done at Eddie Paul's warehouse where we were building the cars for the first movie. And the guy's name was Noah, Noah.
Just like my son.
Yeah. And each car cost $11,000 to do the airbrushing.
Great. Only the airbrushing.
Just the airbrushing.
Crazy.
The paint was done in like half a day, because they mixed the clear coat with the color. And that's why you can't put those cars outside, because they faded. If you see the Hero car that's sitting in Los Angeles, when you open up the door jamb is the original pink color. It's very vibrant and very pink. And then when you close the door, it's very faded pink, because that has like no...
My cars are in dark storage most of the time, so that's good.
But we have all the color codes, all the paint codes and all that kind of stuff. So when it's time to redo it, you can do it probably with paint and then graphics.
The S2000, I can't put new graphics on, because it's not the graphics that was on. It's not the original graphics. If you take a picture, it will be not this. So the VIN number is the car, but then it's like it has a new code. It is not the code that was in the movie. I'm sort of trying to keep everything really as in the movie, as original as possible. But it's if something breaks, then you have to do it, of course.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Do you restore it, and how much do you restore, or do you just leave it even if it's faded or anything like that?
From the Supra, there the seat on the side that is a piece of black plastic is off, and you see the inside.
Right.
I don't want to have a new seat in there, because this is the seat and this is the cloth that Paul was sitting in.
Well, here's what I would say. The center is where he sat, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
So send the seat over to Revo at Stitchcraft. He's still running.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a friend of mine. He's 25 minutes from me. He can redo the outside vinyl.
The repairing the outside would be the best solution, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do. And for the steering wheel, we can send it to a guy I know. He did my steering wheel for my R34 or R35 GTR. No problem. We can match that blue suede, clean it up.
Yeah, but that's also, you can put like new suede over it, but I rather take the old suede and glue it again, and that it is better closed again. It's things like that. But there's a lot of things. So we were talking about barriers. I've been putting some berry stuff off it, but the last 20 years I didn't really have the time, and it's hard to let somebody else do it if it's not 100% clear what should be done, and you really have to be a fan to know all the details, exactly what is the right thing to do, and you don't want to take off what should not be taken off.
Well, in the RX-7 and the Eclipse is very easy.
Yeah, all the APC was the added stuff.
Right. And
you see those stickers and those...
all those extra gauges, those wire looms, none of that stuff was there.
The gauges, but they were not connected also, but I'm taking a lot of things off now. If I'm pictures and being sure that it should be off, then we take it off.
Yeah, so there's another car that's sitting up in Nova Scotia that was built by George Barris. And the museum in Nova Scotia bought this car thinking it was an actual Fast and Furious car. And it's not even close.
But it wasn't screen used also.
It wasn't done for anything. He bought an RX-7, painted it red, and put a bunch of on it, and they sold it to that guy.
Yeah,
anyway.
But it's funny. The RX-7, for example, there's like a beige interior in it. Or no, there was a red interior, but they painted it beige. So they just paint over the whole seats to make it different color. So it's fun to see how they make movie cars. If you see the Jetta, there's a Sparco piece of plastic on a normal road chair,
right,
to make it show like there is a Sparco seat in there.
That's because when they were doing the Race Wars situation, we did not have a stunt car, a MIC-rig card for the Jetta. So they took a Honda Civic and they took a seat cover that says Sparco and make it look like the seats in the Jetta, right?
Yeah.
And so when Jesse is driving and the camera comes on face, and right here you can see that in the back you can see that it's a Honda Civic with the black wing out the back. Same thing with the S2000 in Race Wars. So you look at Johnny Tran and then you look through the back window, you can see that there's a double wing, which is not supposed to be there, and there's a rear door. This S2000 is only 2 doors, right?
Yeah.
But it had 4 doors because you see it this way, you can see the rear quarter window.
But it's funny. There's always these little cameos. But also in the Supra, the golden stunt Supra from part 2. If you open the trunk, from the inside it's all orange.
Right.
And in the there's a chip off, and it's also orange. So you see everywhere, you see the orange back.
Picture Car Warehouse in California. They stripped off all the Fast and Furious parts, threw them in a pile, and sent them and sold them out. They got rid of them, everything, including the wheels, wings, everything, and then they shipped the cars down to Florida, and then they painted them down there, and they put the body kits down there and finished all that work there.
And all those. Can you imagine all those rims from the Hart M5?
Those wheels, I looked it up. I found the receipt that I paid for those wheels. I paid $600 a piece for the wheels for the back, and $400 and something for the front because they're a little skinnier. So the wheels for the Too Fast, Too Furious Skyline, we got them for $600 a piece. They were 18 by 10 or 1910, I forget. All the way around, $600 a piece. And the guy who sold them to me, he's still a friend of mine. As a matter of fact, I'm having lunch with him, I think Friday. Now that we've talked about the prices and a little bit, but let me ask you a question. If you were going to sell the Supra at auction, what do you think it might fetch?
I don't know. It's always about. It's more, so for how many do you have to insure it? My insurance goes up percentage-wise and absolute-wise every year. So it's getting hefty, the insurance, more and more. But it depends on 2 people. If 2 people that that made a software company in the last 20 years and they were like huge fan of part 1, and they sold their company and they have gazillions. Anything can happen. It depends on if there's 2 people who would really go crazy. But it's the auctioneers have been contacting me indeed, especially after the GTR from Fast 4 also. But because this orange Supra, I think it's the top of the Fast and Furious cars.
I think that the Supra, the Eclipse, and the Charger are the 3 big ones from the first movie.
Yeah, but the Supra is the hero car, and that is the other cars are still Paul Walker cars, but it's and mine are stunt cars, and the Eclipse is Hero 2. I thought from the key list. Yeah, it was complete with everything on it, but the Supra is the real hero car with the outsides, the motor, and all the things inside,
the stereo and all that stuff. Yeah,
but we have seen what a stunt car with only the outside does at auction for $550.
They brought me out there to talk about the car, and
I saw.
Craig Jackson said, "What do you think it's going to sell for?" I said, $550.
I saw, yeah, you're good at the point. So basically, you should say what it is then.
If you use that as a barometer, $550 for a stunt car that was a turbo, but it wasn't didn't have any of the stuff inside. That was right. None of it was right because it was a mix between Fast and Furious 1 and Fast and Furious 2. They did not finish the interior at all. So $550, I would say, it'd have to be $1 million at least.
I think it will be way higher because if 1.3 is for the GTR already, I have it insured for the double.
Yeah.
And for insurance, I don't mind if the insurance is too low, because if something happens with the car, normally you basically you can repair it. You can always put something on it again. Yeah. Only if it would totally burn off or be stolen, then then you can't. But as long as you are the owner of the car, you still have the movie car.
Well, you might be right, because there was a sale that happened last year. My old Skyline is now disassembled. It's back to black. It doesn't look anything like it did in the movie. There was a guy in southern United States who's a big fan of GTRs, okay, and he's a big fan of movie cars. So 2 summers ago, he bought a Paul Walker GTR that was his personal GTR, and he sent it to my house in California and let me drive it around for the summer.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. So I don't know what he paid for the car. I'm going to think $500,000 plus. However, he tried to buy the GTR, my old GTR, the actual movie car. And according to the story, the bidding went up to $2.1 million. And the guy who held the car refused to sell it even at that for a GTR, Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah. Yeah. That's the second movie, which was not as popular as the first movie.
The first, it will always be this car has the James Dean effect. It is the car where Paul became known in. Yeah, this is the car that goes throughout the whole film. So it's you made a very good car, Greg.
Right place, right time. I keep saying, and I didn't even want the orange color. I said candy red or blue. That's what I said. Yeah. And they said, nope, what else you got? I said, okay, let's do orange.
But this is orange is for Holland. Orange is so why the Dutch are walking always in orange in football or in anything. Mm-hmm. The king, the family of the family name of our king is from Orange. Van Oranje, from Orange. So that is the name of the king. That's why our country color is orange. So we have the red, white, blue flag, and there's an orange banner next to it, and that is for the kingdom. De Koning, that is Dutch for the king. So there's a lot of...
I thought you were going to say that flag is orange because they watch Fast and Furious.
No, but that's why orange is always appealing to us as Dutch people.
I get it. Totally get it. So
the women last World Championship football were playing against the Americans in the final.
Yeah.
So then we are supporting for the orange, but America won.
So we actually won a football match.
The soccer it is.
Well, they call it football too.
Yeah, for us it's football in Europe, but in America normally it's
soccer.
The old was soccer, but it's getting more known as football in America also, I think, now.
Yeah, we like to be special here in America.
Well, you have Messi now, so America is special for that.
So what other car shows are you taking the cars to regularly?
Basically, it is close by. We have had requests throughout Europe, but if you see what the costs of transport and insurance and everything is to get it to Southern Europe, for example, it's just it's too hefty. So it is Holland, Belgium, Germany. That's basically where it is. And well, if people want to see it, then it is the Dutch car shows are the best way to see it.
Chrome Cars goes around with some of their cars to these events, so you can see some of those cars as well. They have a Too Fast, Too Furious Supra. Every once in a while, they bring in another one. But they have a lot of the muscle car stuff because the guys love the muscle car stuff. Yeah. I love it too. So if you want to see some of those cars, you better follow these people. Gabriel here in the United States is building a bunch of Fast and Furious Integra. You know him, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so he's got a handful of Fast and Furious cars from the first one.
I was talking to Chrome Cars. It is nice if my cars and their cars come together for one event, and that will happen sometime. So somewhere we will get it all together in the coming period somewhere, I think.
Yeah, hopefully I'm at that show. And next time
that would have to be, of course.
Okay. I would like to drive it, not fast, but just drive it.
Yeah, we didn't. We were supposed to do that, but somehow.
I tell you the truth. When I get to a show, I have a hard time turning my back on people waiting for autographs, right? Because I come that far. Yeah. Who knows when I'm going to be back? I want to talk to these people and give them what they want. And so I was just busy. We were all busy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and I had.
But next time, if you're here around, we really have to. We sit in the car and we will drive it.
Yeah, once before I die.
Oh, that will be long.
No. My wife's ready to kill me right now. We just got over COVID recently.
You had it again now,
yeah,
recently?
Yeah.
When was it? Yeah, it was last in January. I had it. People don't talk about it anymore here. Everybody has had it. Yeah. You don't get really sick of it anymore. So it's people are resistant.
Getting better, yeah. So last topic. Have you seen of any of the recent Fast and Furious movies?
I've seen them all.
You've seen them all?
Yeah, of course. You want to see it, even to have an opinion about it.
Yeah.
It is more like it looks more like the Mission Impossible films than like Fast One. But still, it's an entertainment movie, and it's like you also have said. There's money made on the movies, so it's business. So of course they are right to make money.
Of course, absolutely. I say it all the time. What I don't like is that the cars are basically the same old things over and over again. Dodge Chargers, Dodge Challengers, and you get a couple of other cars. They go one block, they're driving a McLaren for 25 feet. They get out of it and they go into a Ferrari, and that's why nobody cares about those movie cars after Tokyo Drift, because they're not special.
They are standard road cars,
right? I know.
Normally, and some may have extra sound or extra
post editing,
post editing sound on it. Yeah, it's still entertaining, but it's not about the tuning scene. But the tuning scene isn't like illegal street racing. Around the time of the Fast and the Furious in Holland, we have had a lot of events and police locking down industrial zones where everybody was written down and had fines, and people had to come before the judge because everybody that was with a car in the event or had given their car for an event which was about illegal street racing, they had to answer for it, and they get serious fines for that. You can't have this on the public roads because you don't know what other people that suddenly are there where there will be accidents and people can die, and it's
right.
If people are in a motorsport event, there will be accident also, but it's 100 times safer because everybody knows what is being done and what's happening. It's like the rally we were driving. We drove through industrial zones, but late and after through the
nighttime,
countries.
yeah.
And in Belgium, you drive through little villages and everything, but everybody knows that it's happening, and everything is locked down.
Right. It's very different in the United States area, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a segment of our population who doesn't care about the police. These are the inner city youth. A lot of them do it. It's intersection takeovers right now. That's what's funny. These people don't want to race because racing requires skill. Yeah. And doing burnouts and donuts doesn't require any skill. And they just run. When the cops come, they just run.
Yeah, or they take a stolen car or whatever.
These kids are shooting AK-47s into the sky. I mean, it's the wild, wild west here. I've never seen anything like it. So, but still, the cops are not cracking down enough. They don't have the funds to do it and all that kind of stuff. And it's just giving everybody a bad name. If you have modified exhaust on your car, there's some places they will just pull you over because you have bigger muffler tips on your car. Yeah. And it's because of all these clowns who are making a bad scene. So that's the thing. But back then, illegal street racing was a big thing. When Universal released the movie in the theaters, there was a public service announcement. Paul Walker comes is sitting in a chair, and he says, listen, all the stunts you are about to see are very, very dangerous, and they're done by professionals and closed road with safety equipment, everything. Don't do that stuff. Yeah. Drive safely. And then as soon as the movie was out, it was Burnout Alley.
But it is. I had this energy. I was driving an Evo 6 at that moment on the road and in the rally also. But I was driving a road Evo 6. That car wasn't even imported by Mitsubishi because we were buying it from Rally Art in Japan because there was no official line of those cars being retail sold. That's from the seven or the 8 started to be a retail car. Before it was just a rally car, which you could also which was homologated for on the road. Yeah. And I was driving, and I had this energy, and I remember I stood in front of a traffic sign, and I looked to the side, and I see this guy, and he was also just from the movie, and everybody was hyped after this music, after seeing the movie.
And then for the next 2 years, every time I watched the news, if there was just a police pursuit, they were always mention Fast and Furious. Well, these kids are all hyped up from watching Fast and Furious. I'm thinking to myself, that was a year and a half ago. What are you talking about?
But they even if there's something about the news about cars or about then they in Fast and Furious style or they do it Fast and Furious. It has become a phrase.
I was sitting in an airport in a lounge ready to get on an airplane. A kid recognized me and he talked to me for a couple of minutes and he walked away. And I look over at my wife and I said, this is never going to go away. And then on the news report, it was the weather. And this girl's going, there's a storm coming down Fast and Furious through Oregon, through the Central Plains.
That's so funny.
This was was it 2004?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is a powerhouse. They're going to do one more, maybe 2 more movies, plus of those girls spin-off and a Hobbs show.
There will be spin-offs, of course. I mean, there's, it's money again.
Yeah, they're sitting at 700 million. They were trying to hit $1 billion. I said they were going to hit 750. They're at 718 right now. Barbie, the new Barbie movie, had an opening bigger than Fast and Furious, Fast 10. Yeah, $159 million.
Barbie has been hyped on TV and on the news and everywhere they are talking about it. And it's. I mean, if you go to the shops, then you see everything is pink suddenly.
Well, in America, that makes sense.
Is towards the fashion.
Here we are 23 years later. People are still doing it.
Yeah. We're only twice as old.
Right, twice as old, right. Yeah. The replica guys are going crazy. There's more than 150 replica cars floating around the world that I've documented.
You have a list of all of them?
I have names and the car that they have. That's what I have.
Nice. Yeah. So what is the most replicated car then?
The Eclipse, the green Eclipse.
I saw a clip on YouTube of how did I buy a $150 Mitsubishi Eclipse replica, but then nothing was correct.
Right.
And so that it wasn't, basically everything was wrong on that car.
Those cars were not very well built, number one. Number two, they were aimed at girls, secretaries, like secretaries. Like you have a female assistant working for you. It's for that person, right? But you can get 3 different engines, right? What is it, 2 or 3? I forget. They got that crummy 140 horsepower, a neon engine. They have the GST with the turbo, right? And then the GSX, which is all-wheel drive. Those were the good ones. But right now, those cars are selling for, like, if they're old and not very well taken, you can pick them up for $1,500.
Yeah.
And they're rubbish cars.
Yeah, and Mitsubishi can make really, really good driving cars, because I've been driving on the road with Evos, a 6, a 7, an 8, and a 10. The 10 I still have. I've driven, I think, 500,000 kilometers in Evos, and I was driving the recce with those cars, and they never broke. And that was stock cars. They were so strong, so good, because basically it was a rally car which they used on the road. Mm-hmm. And the Subaru STI was a road car more where they made a rally car from. I remember the Mitsubishi Evo 6 was about twice the price of a Subaru STI at that moment. It was double the price.
Yeah. We didn't get that car. We only got the 8, right?
But then it had always standard Brembo, big discs, and it was basically a rally car for the road.
So the Eclipses are hot. The Honda Civics are hot to be replicated, because all you need is a body kit, wings in black color, and you're done. It takes 5 minutes. After that, we have a few Supras around the world, in Peru, Chile.
I know a few.
Down in Australia, James King.
Yeah.
And then you got Benji over in France. He came to see me when I was in France at the end of the trip when we left Belgium.
Oh, yeah, nice, yeah.
Yeah, so he came to see me at the hotel. There's another guy had one in England. There was a guy had one in Colorado that got crashed. There's a guy in Miami. I mean, there's a bunch of those Supras as well, but not as much as the Eclipse. Like, you can stop counting at 75 Eclipses.
No, but a Supra is a more expensive car to start with, also.
Absolutely, they're now easily over 80,000 for anything good. And non-turbo cars, no T-top, they're still $40,000. That's not cheap. You can buy a brand new car for that, or almost. But I can't, say that it's not good. If you want to live the life, that's the best way to do it. You go out and buy a car that's close, and do as much as you can afford, and you have a piece of that pie, basically. It's not 100% accurate, but who cares? It's a replica. Or the funny thing is, the other guy I'm interviewing pretty soon, RJ De Vera, my co-technical consultant. When we saw the graphic packages, I said, well, we both looked at each other. We said, well, nobody's going to copy those graphics. And here we are.
It stands out, and standing out at that moment was probably what they wanted.
Yeah,
it's easier to get a copyright on something that is very, very specific.
Well, what a phenomenon this is 20 years later, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
nobody would have thought it at that moment. So it's,
when I saw the first screening of it, I called my wife and she said, "What do you think of the movie?" It's going straight to VHS.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're making money. Good for them.
It's fun. I mean, we can have contacts around the world. We have because of things like Instagram. We have we can share it with the people. You can visit the European car shows.
If you want to follow Arjan, you need to go to Instagram and go to fastgarage.nl.
Without the dot. Fastgarage.nl. No problem.
I thought there was that's your email, isn't it? Yeah.
No, the website, which is not there yet.
So check it out. I think you're about 10,000 followers on Instagram now.
I've not been so busy presenting as I should have, but it's always too much work to make the nice reels and.
I think you just take a quick video with anything. Look, I'm starting the car today. Look what George Barris did to the dash on the car.
Yeah.
Look at this nonsense. Oh my God, I'm going to throw up.
I'm not such a digital maker or a movie maker myself.
Well, I've met your kids. They're pretty smart.
They're smart. But they don't have the car gen like I have. So it's,
Oh, that's sad.
I will try to pull them with it.
Well, it's great seeing you again.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
Hope to see you next season.
Oh, we will. There will be events again. I'm pretty sure about it.
Yeah, all right.
And otherwise, we have to wait till 25 for 10 part 2.
I don't know.
That will come for sure.
If I'm still alive, yeah.
We'll see each other before the time.
All right. We'll talk again soon. Thanks so much. Take care, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.